So I want to hear the relationship of your homeschooling and the business. Like, were you guys involved in the business from day one, or did you stay away from it and gradually become involved? Or what was the relationship to the business, to your education?
It was a family business from the very, very beginning. All of us were involved almost immediately into it. As soon as we got in office, all of us kids, we went and we started to help produce the product and help label it and heat seal it and ship it out. We would all take it to the post office. My little brother, he would take the bucket. He would put all the packages in the little mail chute thing. Like, it was always a family thing. It was never like, oh, this is my parents' business. This is our family business. So.
And it was started before you left school, and so maybe go to Mikey. Once you left school, did you think, now I can work with mom and dad more hours? Or
right? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because in the beginning it was it was something that was free child labor, like it was something that we just did because it was I mean, it was fun, and it was for our family, and it was beneficial for everyone. So we had a great time doing it. And then eventually it got to a point where they were like, hey, you're getting up there in age, you want to like actually work here? And so I accepted and started very, very low, and then kind of worked my way up the company and taking on different roles and jobs and things as the company kind of grew and evolved, which just was an amazing education in and of itself, because I'm learning different aspects of a business. And so when I learned the entrepreneurial mindset from them, and when I want to go start my own business, I'll be very well equipped.
There's something else here that I think is worth pointing out, and that is that it sounds like you have another sibling, a younger child? Or...
We have 2 younger brothers.
Well, it sounds like this is a family that's pretty connected, right? And that you're able to, work together, start a business, that, people are around enough to actually to provide free labor. That's not normal, because normally the kid is away at school for 7.5 hours a day, and then has an hour or 2 at homework when they get home, and they can't participate in any things that's happening in the family. And so that's another dynamic that I think is really quite interesting, and one that's worth pointing out.
Definitely. And I think that, I mean, communication is probably our biggest strong suit as a family. And for any parents listening, like that is, if I could have you take away one message, it's to be able to communicate with your kids. Just because, with education, with business, with everything, it's so universally needed to understand how your child learns, how, their needs. And then pretty much everything that we've done, as far as me traveling, as far as our education, has just been a big kind of conversation and trying things that work, seeing what doesn't work. Even with business, I've been put in roles that I was horrible at and just couldn't figure out. And it was very, humiliating to be like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to handle this. I don't think I could do this. But it's all, life is all one big conversation.
What I love about that is my belief is a lot of kids are in roles at school they don't do well, and they're humiliated for years. And I actually think that leads to huge dysfunction. And we're all bad at some things. All of us are bad at some things. And so what I love about this is you get to experience the things you're bad at, and you're not stuck there for 7 years.
Right?
Sounds like exactly. You go on to something else. Exactly.
It was also amazing for me with homeschooling and just the business, just everything, my entire life it was something that I chose. Being homeschooled was something that I chose. So when I had off days, and when we were studying something and it didn't work, or I was having issues, or we were running through systems that weren't working, it wasn't as detrimental to me or kind of devastating to me as when things would fail or wouldn't work in school, because I had a part in making that decision, as opposed to it being something that's forced upon me into being in this system. And they're crazy militant at school. Like I remember right before I left, they had just instituted assigned seating. Like it's such a controlled environment that it does not prepare you for the real world in any way, shape, or form. Like when you contrast that to me being in a different country by myself, having to figure things out and problem solve. It's the dichotomy of the two is just mind-blowing to me. That is the system in place to raise healthy adults that are going to be able to function in society and live the rest of their lives, you know?